Hello everyone, I am Ergün Ay ÖZDİLKURAL. Today I'm going to talk about the decision-making theories. And decision-making theories, they are the descriptive decision-making theory, perspective decision-making theory, and the nominative decision-making theory. And the descriptive is the what people actually do or have done. The perspective, what people should and can do. Nominative is the what people should do in the theory. The way the people can do the making decision varies considerably. Much early research has focused on the way we are observed to make decisions and the way which are should theoretically make decisions and the result. The range and the variance of the theory is vast. From this theory, an array of the decision-making models have emerged depending on their methodological foundation. This model can be classified as either descriptive, perspective, or nominative. And the descriptive decision-making theory is concerned with the characteristic and the explaining regulated in the choices that people are disposed to make. It is standardly distinguished from the parallel enterprise nominative decision theory, which seeks and provide an account of the choices that people thought to be disposed to make. Much of the work in this area has been devoted to buildings and the testing of formal models of the aim improve on the descriptive accuracy of the framework, known as subjective expected utility. This inadequacy was first called the questions in the middle last centuries, further challenged by the slave experimental work psychologists and the economists from the mid-60s onward. And the perspective decision making is the perspective decision making model is which should be used by a real decision maker, and it is turned to both specific situation and the needs of a decision maker. Perspective models are based on both the strong theoretical foundation of the normative theoretical in the combination of the observation descriptive theory. And the nominative decision making. The distinction between the descriptive and the nominative theories has become fuzzy. Nominative theories have been refined so that they will be better describe decision making. Important that the distinction between descriptive and the nominative remains clear. Distinction acts a useful reference point when attempting to improve managerial decision process. And the utility theory and the risk perception of people. Utility theory based its belief on the individual references. Risk perception of people refers to people's subjective judgments about the likelihood of negative occurrence, such as injury, illness, disaster, and death. Utility theory based on the belief upon individuals' preferences. This theory is populated in economics to explain behavior individual based on the premier. People can constantly rank their choices depend on the preferences. Each individual will slowly different preferences, which appears to be hardwired with each individual. And we can thus state will individuals' preferences are instincts. And any theory which propose to be capture preferences is by the necessity aberrations based on the certain assumption. Utility theory is utility theory is a positive theory that seeks to be explained individual observed behavior and the choices. The distinction between the and the risk perception of people theory. Risk perception refers to people's subjective judgments about the likelihood of the negative occurs, such as injury, illness, disaster, and death. Risk perception is important in the health and the risk communication because it determines which hazards because of the care about how they deal with them. And risk perception has two main dimensions. The cognitive dimension, which relates to how people know the understand risk, and the emotional dimension, which relates how they feel about them. And the expected utility theory. The expected utility theory is calculated by taking the weighted average of the possible outcomes under the certain circumstances, with the weight being assigned by the likelihood or probability, and any particular event will occur. And expected utility theory is used as a tool for analyzing situation in the individuals must make a decision without knowing outcomes that may result from the decision. The individuals will choose action that will result is highest expected utility, which is the sum of the product's probability and utility overall the possible outcomes. And the expected utility advantage and disadvantages. Advantages: the rational model is prescriptive and helps us to examine the situation whole. And disadvantages: and not always good as a descriptive model, gives a wrong result if it is goes on all wrongs. And prospective theory. And prospect theory assumes that losses and gains are the valued differently and trusts individuals make decisions based on the prospective gains instead of percentage loss. The theory was formulated in 1979 and the further development in 1992 by the Amos Tversky and the Daniel Kahneman, and demanded the physically accurate how the decision make and compares the expected utility theory. Tversky and the Kahneman proposed the losses cause greater emotional impact and the individual than the equivalent amount of gain. And prospective theories, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages: first is descriptive, then explain investor behavior is very well. And disadvantages are not entirely perspective and the related complicated. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.